Benjamin Impossible. Chapter 4. The Red Zeppelin. The next morning, the entire Impossible family sat down for breakfast. The weather was beautiful, so Mother decided they should eat outside on the deck of the Red Zeppelin. The Red Zeppelin was the name of the boat they lived on. Dad had used money from his inventions and bought a giant pirate ship. Instead of using sails, however, he had installed an enormous balloon filled with hyperhelium, allowing the boat to float in the air. The ship could fly high above the clouds or land on water and float in the ocean. The family had painted the boat red, so now they called their flying boat the Red Zeppelin. The Red Zeppelin was currently floating at 5,000 feet over Virginia, heading south along the jet stream wind currents. The weather was warming, so the family decided to head to the Caribbean for some island fishing and swimming in the ocean. "Get back to the table, Benjamin," his mother called. Benjamin had wandered over to the side railing to peer down at the ground far below. He could see the Appalachian Mountains below them. Tiny roads wound through the mountain passes, and along these routes traveled cars and trucks. From this altitude, the cars looked like toys. "Just looking, Mom." His mother looked over the rim of her glasses. "You're not spitting your food over the railing, are you, young man? You know that's littering, right?" Benjamin stuck his lip out. "Food is biodegradable, so it's not littering." "What if your food landed on someone?" his mother asked. "You could hit someone and be charged with assault. Do you want the police to come arrest you?" Benjamin shrugged. "How would the police get up here to arrest me? Cops can't fly." Benjamin returned to the table and sat grumpily. "Even if they did try to arrest me, I'd just tell them that Charlie spit up over the edge. You can't arrest a baby." Charlie, who had been eating cereal from his high chair, spoke up with a high voice. "I'm no baby." Benjamin stuck his tongue out, so Charlie threw his empty carton of milk at him. Without thinking, Benjamin karate punched the milk carton out of the air. The container sailed over the table, bounced off the railing, then fell over the side of the boat toward the mountains below. Benjamin grinned. "Uh-oh, Charlie, your fingerprints and saliva DNA were all over that milk carton. With that kind of evidence, the police are going to arrest you. I, on the other hand, will get off scot-free. It's the perfect crime. Ha 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 ha." "Goo goo ga ga," yelled Charlie, shaking his fist at Benjamin. "Ba ba ba goo goo ga ga ga." Charlie was the youngest member of the Impossible family. A brilliant child, he could speak perfect English. He could also program computers in 17 different programming languages. However, Charlie was only 2 years old, and when he got frustrated, he sometimes forgot how to talk and reverted to baby babble. Mother Impossible was not amused. "Benjamin, I'm warning you." Benjamin sighed. "Fine." He whistled, and Noah floated over, robotic tail wagging. "Noah, can you get that piece of litter I dropped overboard? You've got about 18 seconds to fetch it before it hits the side of a mountain." The robotic dog barked with excitement, then shot over the edge of the boat, flying down toward the earth with his jet engines running at top speed. Benjamin tried to get up to watch the chase, but his mother wouldn't allow it. "You sit right there, young man, and finish your breakfast. Also, you apologize to your little brother." Benjamin sat down and poked at his food with a fork. "Sorry, Charlie. I sometimes forget how amazing I am and that you're just a little baby with limited real-world experience and an underdeveloped sense of humor." Charlie just glared and buttered his toast. "Papa, do something about your children," his mother pleaded. "Simmer down, boys," Papa Impossible said from the other end of the table. The father of this family had managed to avoid the conflict through determined ignorance. He took a sip of coffee and then continued to read his newspaper, which he was perusing with great interest. "Well, boys," Papa said after a time, "it looks like the family business is doing great. Impossible Incorporated stock is up another 3 points, and the value of hyperhelium is at an all-time high. Plus, they published a very nice article about Charlie." Benjamin looked at the newspaper headline. It read, "Charlie Impossible saves 12 from Toy Inferno." Underneath the headline sat a picture of Benjamin in his inflated ninja suit. You couldn't see the boy's face, though. The angle of the photo made Benjamin look like a giant flying baby. "Hey!" Benjamin complained, looking at his little brother. "I was the one who saved those people from the fire. You hacked into the newspaper's computer and changed the story, didn't you?" Charlie grinned and started whistling innocently. Now," said Papa Impossible. It doesn't matter who saved those people. We all know it was you, Benjamin, and we're all very proud. His father leaned forward and grinned at the older boy. Besides, I thought you wanted to be a super spy. You can't be a spy if everyone knows your name and what your face looks like. Benjamin blinked, thinking about this. You've got a point there, Dad. Maybe it's better if my identity remains a mystery. I'll be a ghost, the boy with no name. Satisfied, Benjamin glanced back over at Charlie. Did you at least like the toy I got you, you stinker? Charlie grinned. Oh yes, it is very cool. The toddler reached under his chair, pulled out the robot head and thumped it down on the table, making everyone's dishes rattle. This thing is fascinating. It's got a logic chip inside and lots of cool sensors. There's even a Class 6 laser array inside. This is the best toy ever. Benjamin grinned. You're welcome, little brother. Just don't burn down the boat and remember to wear safety glasses when using that laser. It's powerful. Mama Impossible looked disapprovingly at the dismembered head. Get that thing off the table. You don't know where it's been. Oh, yes, I do, Charlie announced. This robotic head has an onboard GPS chip soldered to the motherboard. Their conversation was interrupted by Noah, who had returned with the lost milk carton. The dog barked and wagged its tail. Clever dog, said Papa Impossible. Be a pal and put this newspaper in the recycling machine, will you? The dog barked again, then snatched the newspaper and flew off toward the back of the ship. Now, boys, Papa Impossible said. Enough messing around. I have a new mission for you two. The boys stopped fidgeting and looked interested. We are expecting a new arrival, and I need you two to bring him in. The two boys abandoned their breakfast and ran to the edge of the ship, scanning the sky. They rarely had visitors when flying in mid-air. Benjamin spotted it first. Look, Charlie, he said with excitement. It's a hot air balloon. Below them, they could see a yellow balloon rising toward them. After several minutes, the balloon reached their altitude and leveled off, flying alongside their own ship. Benjamin found a pair of binoculars and inspected the new arrival. It looks like a regular hot air balloon. There are two people in the basket underneath, and they seem to be waving at us to come get them. The older boy turned to his dad. Shall we turn the red Zeppelin and pick them up? Papa Impossible shook his head. I'd rather not waste fuel moving our whole ship. Why don't you take the dog to fetch them here? You can take a mop. Yes, you can go too, Charlie. The boys cheered. Charlie hopped into his hover high chair, which floated up off the deck with the aid of hyperhelium. With the push of a button, gas jets propelled the hovering baby chair into the sky. Charlie laughed and kicked his dangling legs as he sped toward the hot air balloon. Benjamin inflated his ninja suit until he was nearly weightless, then grabbed a power mop. The mop had a long handle, but instead of cloth on the end for scrubbing, it had a powerful motor with a spinning metal fan. Mother had invented the power mop for scraping barnacles off the bottom of the ship, but Benjamin found the spinning blades made an excellent propeller for aerial acrobatics. The boys flew out to meet the hot air balloon, their robotic dog Noah floating behind. Who could these strangers be, and why would they go to such extremes to visit their floating home? This is the end of Chapter 4. Be sure to like this video and then proceed to Chapter 5. Lemon Time.